give us a second. Okay, Jerome, who will be the host? Who will be sharing the slides? Hi, may I know who will be sharing the slides? Okay, Ethan, right?
Hi, Mr. Zhou. Yep, that's me.
Okay, so I'll give you the rights. Okay, now you can start sharing your slides.
Okay, thank you.
Today itself, right? Okay, we have Ethan, and Jerome, from Team Swift itself. Okay, Ace Your Golden Years, by Swift. Okay, if you are looking at really exploring financial advisory career or even taking up insurance, right? This is one that you might want to consider. Okay, so yes, is your slides ready?
Yep, can you see my slides?
Yeah, we can see your slides. Good. Okay, let's put a hand to welcome him.
All right. Hi, good evening, everybody. I'm Ethan here. Before I begin, I'd just like to thank Mr. Zhou for having Team Swift here with you this evening. I think it is our pleasure and our privilege to be sharing on this platform, and not forgetting all the participants who are tuning in with us this evening. Thank you so much for taking time aside to hear us out, and we hope tonight's session will be a blessing to all of us here this evening. So without further ado, today's title of our sharing is called Ace Your Golden Years. All right, Ace Your Golden Years. Now, before I begin, this is a disclaimer. So let's take a while to have a read. All right. Okay, so sweet. So this is our slogan. We believe in the things we do by impacting lives through finances. So who are we? We are individuals, or we are professionals who are specialized in helping businesses or individuals in the area of financial advisory work. All right, so in our team, we have people who have obtained the designation of Associate Financial Consultant, Certified Financial Planner, and even some estate planners. So this is who we are, and this is what we do. Over the years, we have conducted sharing sessions. We have also gave some talks to business networking session, and also organized some games through board games, typically to students in the university to share and impart some knowledge in the area of financial planning. So this is what we do, and basically we do life together, okay? So amidst this COVID-19 pandemic, right, we have shifted the platform. So we have also go online from physical meetings to Zoom, like what we are doing right now this evening. So we never stop what we do because we believe and we have the conviction in the things we do. So I hope tonight's session, all of us will be tremendously blessed by it. All right. Okay, so Ace Your Golden Years. Before I begin, I just want to say something, guys. We are living longer. Yep, we are not saying things, we are indeed living longer. Now, based on a research, right, the average life expectancy for people, right, in 2008, it is about 80.9 years old. All right, 5 years later, research has found that it increased to 82.4 years, and subsequently in 2018, it has further increased again to 83.2 years old. So what does this mean? Does this mean that the average life expectancy will increase? I would believe so. Now, the only concern is this: do we have enough to sustain the standard of living that we are so used to? This is a question I wish you would take some time to think about it. All right, so allow me to bring you through this short example of this chart called season of life. So typically when we start working, it is around the age of 25. So we have the next 40 years to earn an income, to command an income, to work, and to enjoy the kind of standard of living we want to achieve, right? So after that, fast forward 40 years later, when we reach 65, I call that the golden years. It is where we yearn to retire, we want to relax, we want to enjoy life. Some of us may even earlier, right, enter into grandparenthood. So this is the phase of life, and subsequently after 85, I call that distribution years, where we will distribute whatever assets or estate that we have long ago already accumulated. So this, in short, is what I call the season of life. But can I just ask you, or can I just share this thing? Now, if you realize we have 40 years to work, right, from 25 to 65. However, we have 60 years or even more to live. The question is, are you ready for it? Think again, 40 years to work, 60 years or even longer to live. This is a big question mark in everybody's mind tonight, right? All right, so like our topic for tonight is Ace Your Golden Years. Ace Your Golden Years. With this, we have used ACE as an acronym: asset accumulation, cash flow creation, estate distribution. And this is how we'll be conducting our sharing this evening. So ACE. We'll be touching briefly on the different ways to do asset accumulation, cash flow creation, as well as estate distribution. After which, we will zero in into cash flow creation, which is the topic that most of us will be interested and will be curious to find out more on that. All right, so follow me. Number one, asset accumulation. So these are the different ways which we can accumulate our assets, typically through stocks and bonds. You have your unit trusts, you have your exchange traded funds, not forgetting you have real estate investment trusts as well. Now, some of us will prefer physical property, others will prefer commodities such as gold, oil and gas, and lastly, currency. Right before the hype in cryptocurrency, this is a topic which many young individuals are looking at currently. Asset accumulation. Now, next, cash flow creation. These are different ways which we can create cash flow for our lives. For example, stocks in terms of dividends, bonds through coupons, REITs through dividends, properties through rentals, and of course, we have CPF Life, which most of us are aware of, right? CPF Life. And lastly, insurance in terms of lifetime income solutions. So these are different ways we can generate cash flow for our lives, for you and I this evening. And lastly, estate distribution. I love this topic a lot, estate distribution. How do we actually plan nicely in terms of estate distribution? These are several ways. Okay, through wills, through advanced medical directive, in short, AMD, lasting power of attorney, in short, LPA, and lastly, CPF and insurance nomination. All right, now we believe, we not believe, but we feel that most of us here tend to neglect this area of estate distribution. So as such, I want to take a bit of time to go into each individual topics, individual factors, will, AMD, LPA, and CPF and insurance nomination. And I hope you have a better clarity on what are these things. Okay, now will. Now, what is a will? Will is like what the screen suggests, right? It is an important legal document written while you are alive. And it is not active, all right, until you passed away. It states your intentions or wishes regarding the distribution of assets and the care of any minor children after you pass away. Now, with this, I think all of us here are very aware of this thing called will. So your Korean drama, your Hong Kong drama, you know, when somebody didn't write up their will, drama tend to happen. That's why dramas are for, right? That's why you and I watch commercial TV, movies and whatnot. So we are very aware of this thing. But in Singapore, are you aware of this thing that if you do not have a will, quote, there is a default will that's already been written for you by the law? Are you aware of that? Let me share with you. Okay, so why you should make a will? Now, with a will, you decide the assets to be, you decide the assets, who you want to give to, how much to give to each individual accordingly. But if you do not have a will, now this is it, okay? The law decides for you. And for this matter of fact, it is the ISA, Intestate Succession Act, okay, for you and I Singaporeans today. So if you do not have a will, law will decide for you. So guys, very important, keep in mind, do up your will, okay? Next, AMD. Most of us will heard of wills, but what is this AMD thing all about? It is an advanced medical directive, which is a legal document that you sign in advance to inform doctors treating you in the event you become terminally ill or unconscious, that you do not want any extraordinary life-sustaining treatment to be used to prolong your life. Now, seems a bit confusing, seems very sophisticated. Allow me to break it down so that you can understand better. Now, new advances in medical knowledge and technology create choices for both patients and healthcare providers. Now, this is a good thing. Some of these choices, however, raises new ethical and legal issues. What are these issues? One issue is that modern medical technology, right, can technically prolong life in the final stages of terminal illness. But mind you, they do not stop the dying process. To put it blatantly across, in other words, we will die one day, all right? We will die one day. Now, in such situations, further medical intervention will be medically ineffective, and a decision has to be made whether or not to withdraw such medical intervention. Now, think of this. Some medically ill people, right, they are unable to express their wishes at that time. They may want to be spared, okay? They may want to be spared further from this suffering and be allowed to naturally pass away in peace and with dignity. This is where AMD comes in place, all right, to allow them to pass on with peace and dignity according to their wishes. So this is what AMD is all about for those who are not aware of this. All right, and lastly, right, LPA, all these acronyms, what are they? LPA, they stand for lasting power of attorney. It is a legal instrument which allows a person who is at least 21 years of age to voluntarily appoint one or more persons to make decisions and act on his behalf should he lose mental capacity one day. Now, a Downey can be appointed to act in the two broad areas of personal welfare and property matters. Now, in short, what if we do not have an LPA? Three factors I would like to share about today if we do not have an LPA. Number one, it is harder for your loved ones to take care of you. Right, you heard me right. It is harder for your loved ones to take care of you. Why? In the unfortunate situation where you have lost your mental capacity, right, you would be surprised that it is difficult and many restrictions are there for the use of your assets, for loved ones to use your assets. And this example can be used, for example, let's say if you are in the hospital, right, and you need a sum of money to pay for the bills. Now, what happens? Your spouse and children would not be able to use your assets immediately to pay for the bills. If they approach the banks will not release the money to them, unless they are appointed Downies of the LPA or the appointed deputies under an order of court. So don't blame the bank, right? The bank is also trying to protect your interests. They're also doing their job, whereas your families and spouse and children are also doing their job. So each of us have our own part to play. With LPA in place, right, this will ensure the whole process will be smooth and will be effective. So this is the first reason. Number two, if we do not have an LPA, your loved ones would have to apply to a court to be given the power to take care of you. You heard me right. They need to apply to obtain power to take care of you. Now, if you have lost mental capacity and you do not have LPA, your loved ones need to apply to the Family Justice Court, okay, the Family Justice Court, to be appointed as the deputy in order to make decisions in relation to your personal welfare and property and matter. There is no automatic power granted to them just because they are your family members or your relative, okay? So there isn't such thing as just because he's my husband, he's my child, I will be automatically granted with power. No, there isn't such a thing here, okay? So this whole process can take months, and it typically costs a few $1,000s in terms of legal fee. While waiting to be appointed, your loved one would remain in difficult situation where they do not have the authority to make decisions for you in your best interest. This will not only add financial stress to them, but this will be physically and mentally draining for them. So this is another reason why we need to have LPA, my friends. And lastly, the third reason or the third factor, if you do not have an LPA, conflicts may arise between your loved ones because they disagree on what is best for you. Right? Different people who love you, right, have different methods or ways to show concerns for you. Right, your wife may think of this topic or this way of handling things, whereas your parents may have another way of thinking to handling things. Now, what happened? Who is right? Let me tell you the answer. Honestly, I do not know because each of them has their own reason for saying so. So with LPA, right, it prevents such conflicts from arising because you would have already thought through carefully and inform your chosen Downey that you trust him or her with the responsibility of making such decisions on your behalf if you lose mental capacity. A bit long-winded, but in short, right, these three reasons are totally why you should go and set LPA for yourself. Okay, and lastly, CPF and insurance nomination. CPF and insurance nomination. Do you know that you can do nominations for your CPF and also for your insurance policies? Now, CPF and insurance nomination provides you with the option to specify who will receive your CPF savings and insurance proceeds, and how much each nominee and beneficiaries should receive upon your demise. No, before I continue, can I just say something that if you realize, right, at every bottom part of the screen, there's this QR code. I forget to bring this up at the earlier part of the meeting. Should you have any questions for us, please feel free, right, to scan the QR code and fill up the relevant information as well as the question. What we will do is this: we will compile all these things into an FAQ list with answers, and we'll send it back to you through your email so that everybody will benefit from it. It's one thing to hear, but it's another thing to have it and keep on reminding you on it. So that's why we are deciding to send you all the FAQs to your email once again after you scan this QR code. So remember to scan the QR code if you have any questions for us. Okay, now we have completed ACE, asset accumulation, cash flow creation, and lastly, estate distribution. Last segment of this sharing, I'd like to zero in into cash flow creation. What are the ways for cash flow creation and how will it help you? Okay, typically, these are the three methods where most people here in Singapore will do or will implement to have cash flow creation strategy on their hand. They are property through rentals, CPF Life, and insurance in the form of lifetime income solutions. These three. Now, property in terms of rental, in Singapore, there are so many properties. It may be residential, it may be commercial, or it may even be industrial properties. What you do is that in order to generate cash flow, you normally typically rent it out and command some passive income, right? This will be a way for you to generate cash flow or to create cash flow for yourself. And I believe this is a hot topic where most people would like to think and ponder about, right? Having a property, having passive income, and then you can do whatever you want to do with the passive income. So this is a strategy as well. Now, next, CPF Life. Most of us here know what CPF does, right? Other than, automatically you have a percentage of your income being set aside to CPF. But are you aware of CPF Life, especially when you turn 55? So what happens when you turn 55? For all of us here in Singapore, we need to be ready. We need to be prepared by setting aside a sum of money which we call retirement sum. It may be in terms of the basic retirement sum or even full retirement sum, and lastly, enhanced retirement sum. Let's take Uncle Tan, for example, age 55 years old this year, at age 2021. So what happens is this: at age 55 in 2021, he will need to set aside at least 93,000 in his for his basic retirement sum. All right, at age 55. So after setting aside, this is what happens 10 years later when he turns 65. He would need to choose from these three plans, all right? Either basic plan from the CPF Life, standard plan, or escalating plan. So as you can see from the screen, right, basic plan, you have a sum of typically around 700 to 767 per month. Standard plan ranging from 765 to 837, and lastly, escalating plan, 603 to 666 per month. Okay, so if you realize, right, your basic plan pays you slightly lower than your standard plan. Why? This is because if anything were to happen to you, or if you pass away, a larger sum of bequest will be set aside for your loved ones to ensure your legacy goes on. So this is for people who wants to set aside more for their loved ones. In short, we call it legacy. So they will choose basic plan. Now, standard plan, as the word suggests, standard, right? You will receive a sum of money throughout for the rest of your life. No increase, no decrease. That is standard plan. And lastly, escalating plan. Okay, you start small. Escalating plan will pay you slightly from 603 to 666, and it will increase gradually by 2% each year. Why is this so? This is to ensure that CPF members can generally maintain their standard of living even if prices were to rise over the years. So if you're afraid, right, that price may rise over the years and you have no method of controlling your spending or whatnot, then you can opt for the escalating plan. So this is how the CPF Life scheme works for every individual here in Singapore. Okay. Lastly, to the final factor of creating cash flow, it is insurance in the form of lifetime income solutions. Lifetime income solutions. So as you can see from the chart, right, all you need to do is to set aside an initial payment, and after you wait for the accumulation period, right, a payout will be given to you for the rest of your life. Okay, for the rest of your life. And notice, at the end, let's say maybe after a good 20, 30 years, a sum of bequest, which is significant and meaningful, will be left behind for your loved ones. This is also to ensure that your legacy lives on, and they will remember you. They will remember you for who you are, for what you do for them. So in short, this is love, and this is something which I believe all parents, or even you and I, adults here, would love to do for our loved ones here. Can I just suggest one more thing? On top of these lifetime income solutions, over the years, right, there's a leveraging strategy, what we call it premium financing, right? Premium financing. So what is this premium financing got to do with this lifetime income solution? I'll just touch on briefly so that you have an idea of how does this leveraging strategy works. In short, you're actually taking a loan from the bank. Okay, you're taking a loan from the bank. Now, you have heard of people taking loans from bank to pay for their houses and whatnot, but have you heard of people taking loan from bank to pay for such solutions? Now, how it works is this: you are basically just servicing the interest annually. Now, unlike your housing loan and whatnot, where you are paying down the capital, premium financing in this term, you are just paying the interest every year, servicing the interest, basically servicing the loan. All right. So when the payout starts after the accumulation period, you'll use the payout to pay the interest, which you took for the loan, and the rest is for you to keep, and it's for you to enjoy your standard of living. So this is what premium financing works, and this is how we leverage against the low interest rate environment that you and I are facing this today in a modern world context today. All right. So we have come to the end of our sharing already, but before that, I just want to round out everything. We have gone through ACE, asset accumulation, cash flow creation, and estate distribution. And we have also zeroed in into cash flow creation, the different methods or the different ways. Now, if you have any questions, like what I said just now earlier in this slide, please, once again, feel free to scan the QR code, okay? And feel free to ask us, and we hope to clarify your concerns for you. Okay, we'll send you back the answers and the FAQs to your email, and we hope you'll be encouraged and be blessed by this. And lastly, do follow us on our socials, especially on Instagram. This is our account, and stay updated to our content. I think these days, right, very hard to find people that do not have any social media accounts. So if you have, follow us, click that follow button, you will be blessed, okay? And yes, now, this is the final part of the session. I didn't say this at the front, I will say this now. For all of you who have already scanned the QR code for questions and you want to get some answers, and to all of you who are still tuning in with us this evening, right? This is for you. We'll be giving away a free ebook called Cash Flow Quadrant, written by Robert Kiyosaki. I think most of us will know him, right? So this is for you to enjoy. All you need to do is to once again scan this QR code, and at the end you'll receive a link to this free ebook. I tell you, you will benefit by this, from this, and this is closely related to the topic that we are talking about tonight. So be blessed, and we hope you'll be tremendously encouraged and make the right decisions today. Okay? So once again, alongside with me is Eric Jerome Shakeling. We thank you for having us this evening with you. We are Swift and we impact life through finance. Thank you once again, and Mr. So, back to you. Thank you.
Okay, welcome back. Anyone got any questions for them? You can just simply raise it down here, or you can scan the QR code. Yeah. So fast finish. Any more? We really welcome them in sharing such a topic itself. It will really help you in your financial planning, also your assets building up. So next time itself, right, this team will also be sharing things like will planning, estate planning. Okay, and we welcome them to share as much as we can. Now, before we end the session itself, right, of course, we really hope that you can benefit from the sessions. So if any one of you have any questions, just feel free. If it's you want to put in the chat group right now, also can, okay? Or you want to just unmute yourself and ask, also can. Do you all provide service into Malaysia as well? Because we also got some Malaysia and Indonesia friends down here as well. Yep.
I heard your question, and the answer is yes. We do provide services for Malaysians friends and also our Indonesians friends out there. So feel free to get to us, contact us. You have our social media accounts, and we will answer you to the best of our ability, and we hope you'll be blessed by this. Okay?
Good. Yep. Any last questions from anyone? Okay, if there's no last question itself, right? Okay, basically the next sessions will be at 8:30 to 9:30 itself. Okay, so you'll be CEO presentations where everyone is welcome to give a 10 minutes presentation. So stay tuned later at 8:30 itself, we'll be doing it live. Now, if you missed today's session itself, right, you can actually go into Chat Online Marketplace, download, it will be at video channel 3. You can rewatch the whole thing again. Okay, seems like no questions. You all got any last things you want to give up or, or cover? Any other last thing? Nope. Okay, good. Okay, that's all for this session itself. Okay, and we'll see you later at 8:30. Okay, goodbye.
Okay, thank you.